Good morning, grandkids. Well, if the janitor out in my hallway is through using the sweeper, I'm going to try to read a story. This is the 39th chapter in my book, let's say, series of In a Land Far, Far Away. And this is about Dorkly, the young wizard. I will have about maybe 2 more chapters after this one, and I will be in them ending this book, and then I will start book number 2 in the series of A Land Far, Far Away. Okay, you got that? And before I go any farther, I would like to say, please, please, if you watch the video and listen to the story, make comments about that. Don't leave me comments saying, hi, good morning, love you. That means nothing to me with this story. After I start the second book, I'm going to start deleting all of that. I don't care what it does to my subscriber count. I'm not interested in that. All right, we're going on now with chapter 39. King Conley is in his sitting room off the side of the court. He is in a leisurely pale blue robe wrapped around him, tied at the waist with a red and gold braided cord. He left his crown sitting on the seat of his throne in case he decides to have court later on. He is sipping some wine, and another empty glass is sitting on the table beside him, waiting for someone else. Finally, the general, Benester, is escorted in, and he brings in another gentleman. Benester took a knee before King Conley, glancing up and giving him a wink and saying, "Sire, this is Governor Oscar Throxton from the Corkscrew Village." He stood up and escorted Oscar to the table and turned and left the room. Conley looked him over. He was short and fat, with a belly hanging over his belt. Conley noticed that he had a habit of hitching up his pants as he had walked across the room. The man wore a long-sleeved white shirt with galluses of all things, and his jacket folded over his arm. The king sat there a minute, then said, "Sit down, Mr. Throxton, sit down." Oscar said, "Thank you, my king. It was gracious of you to want to see me, sire," then placed his jacket around the back of the chair and sat down. "Ah, a bottle of wine. Might I imbibe a little?" "Of course," the king said, and motioned for a servant by the bar to come and pour. But before the attendant could move, Oscar had snatched up the bottle and poured generously into his waiting glass. The king watched him with amusement and a little disgust. "Mr. Throxton, Oscar, if I may, since this land was founded by myself, and this court is mine, and the towns and villages are under my rulership, please enlighten me as to how you became governor of Corkscrew Village, since I have never appointed any governorships. If you will, please." Conley steadily looked at Oscar. rocked and sputtered a little and humped and a little before he could get out anything to say. "Well," he finally said with a slight smile, "people keep coming to me about various problems and seem to look to me for leadership." He took a drink and snapped one of his galluses, which was slipping off his shoulder. A few started calling me Gov once in a while, so I set up an office and tried to help them out. He took another swig and offered up a low belch. "Well, since you proclaim yourself as governor, what are you doing about the problems and the laziness with the men of your mine?" the king asked. "What? What problem? Laziness? I get my pittance every month from the miners. I assume everything is going along fine." Why?" He was getting flustered. "You don't know, as a so-called governor, what's going on at your mine?" "Not very good leadership, if you ask me," the king almost shouted. "Also, the citizens of all of my towns come to court almost daily to seek settlements or my help in some way. Now, here is what's going to happen immediately. First, you are going to go home, drop your governor sign off your desk and into the trash. Second, I am going to draw up a legal document denouncing you as governor and having guards deliver a bundle of them to the citizenry of Corkscrew Village. Third, you are to get a job and even forget the word governor and never, never take any coin from the miners. Fourth, if you even think of causing me any more trouble, you will be arrested and put in prison. Not jail, prison. Do you understand all that I have just said?" Yes, sire," Oscar mumbled. "Then get out of here." Yes, sire." Oscar jumped up, snatched up his jacket, gave his pants a little hitch, and hurried for the door. General Benester at the mines has a cluster of guards standing around him and one commander for a meeting. "Commander, I am placing you in charge of Corkscrew Mine. You will make sure the guards will be doing what I tell them, and you will walk through the mine's tunnels every day, keeping check on the miners, seeing if they are doing a decent day's work. I will not have any laziness going on from anyone. Anyone who continually isn't doing his job, miner or guard, bring them to me, and they will be getting fired. By the way, how are those 2 card-playing guards doing that I sent to the guards' barracks to be set to work there?" "Oh, they've straightened up and are doing their jobs okay," the commander replied. "Great. I want you to elect 2 of these guards standing here to tour the mines with you. 2, I want you to pick as sentries at the door of the mine, and 2 to patrol the path between the mine and Corkscrew Village. If there's any guards here left over, have them tour the village day and night at alternate hours. Make sure that Mr. Throxton gets a job and causes no more trouble. If you find any of the miners who have been doing a good job, put 1 or 2 of them in a better level, sort of overseeing the other miners. maybe to bring any grievance out to you, and then from you on to me. Also, make sure that those are given a raise." "Hey, Bone," one of the guards said, "you think we're really going to get this mine running better now?" "Yes," he chuckled, "I really do. If you guards all do your jobs, pay attention to the commander, and stop calling me Bone." Some of the men laughed as Benester smiled and dismissed them all. Dorkly wanders into the court and over to King Conley's sitting room and sits down with him at the table. He had seen Mr. Throxton as he left, waddling and puffing, and figured that Conley wouldn't be in the best of moods. But the king looked over at him with a quirky smile and offered him a drink. "No, not today," Dorkly said. "Been wandering through the streets since morning, and if I had a drink now, I might just lay my head down on this table and go to sleep." "Hey, are you going to have any court today?" "Nah, too late in the day," the king said. "I heard Othello talking to one of her friends in the market about her baby being king. Thought you'd want to know. You think that lady she was talking to is going to start spreading that all over as fact?" Dorkly was looking at the king and saw the look in his eyes. "Well," Conley said, "I guess I'd better be doing something seriously about this before she takes it too far," he exclaimed. "Dupree has been talking to me, and I think he is changing his mind about being the future king. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to plan a party, and we'll make a couple of announcements at that time." "Great," Dorkly grinned. "May I invite a lady to the party?" "Of course," Conley said. "You know, Wizard Gorman never had a woman after your mother passed. I'm glad you are enjoying your life as a wizard of the court. It's also nice sitting here chatting like your dad and I did." "Thanks, sire," Dorkly said. "It's nice having some free time to be able to just relax. I think things might be going to settle down around the realm, don't you?" "Well, yes, if I can get things in check with my daughter," King said. "Any news on that woman who's been seen lurking around Othello and William?" "No, not really. I haven't seen her. I would really like to find out her name eventually." "Oh, how's things going at the mine?" "Well, I think that's all about taken care of. General Benester has been sending me his reports or coming in to see me. He's been busy, but doing a good job," the king smiled. "Well, if there's no court, and if you have no need of me, may I run off to see my girl?" And Dorkly got up, giving the king a wink. "Of course," Conley laughed, shoving him away with his hands. "Of course. Get out of here." So we'll see what's going to be going on in the next chapter. I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Let me know about what you think of some of the things in the chapters. Don't just be saying hi, thank you, love you, Grandma. Tell me something about the story. This is a story time. Remember that after this book is ended and I start the second book of the series, I'm going to start deleting all that. Doesn't belong on here. Or anywhere else, really. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Tired. Bye-bye, grandkids.